Hi, so today I have Lisa Kusch with me, and she's a practitioner in the area of conscious breath work. And I just want to thank you so much for your time and coming to share your expertise and to just bring knowledge and awareness around what conscious breath work is. It is something I know in my own journey that just kind of intuitively happened for me to release trauma when I was having memories come back. And I had no idea really that there was even something out there that was a modality that we could have access to help us, process through trauma and release it from the body. So today I was hoping that you could tell us a bit about what conscious breathwork is and what it looks like, or if someone was interested in trying this, what their experience might be in working with you, or what to expect with it.
Sure. Thank you. I think we would start by explaining what conscious breathwork is.
Okay, great.
And that would be that we're the only mammal that can manipulate its breath. Right. We're the only mammal that can be conscious and intervene on something that is done as a reflex. And that in and of itself, when people understand that they have power over how they react in a situation by using their breath, is a conscious breath work.
Okay.
That's the baseline.
Okay.
And then from there, conscious breath work as an entire modality is any form of breath work. And so there's centuries of practice of different types of breath work that have happened in religious context, in yoga, in sport, even in academic circles, so that they've used it to access different types of states of consciousness.
Okay.
And so most of what people know right now to be conscious breath work is interventive techniques. So for example, someone is having an emotional outburst and they'll say, take a deep breath. That's conscious breath work.
Okay.
Taking a deep breath. So simple. It's breath is medicine. What happens when we take that deep breath? We're activating the parasympathetic nervous system.
Right.
So we're coming out of that heightened state and we're able to relax.
Right.
So that's the most obvious of the conscious breath work that we do. If we take it a little bit further, then we're able to look at, but what if everything that I want to do with my breath isn't about relaxing or calming down? What
Okay.
if we want to breathe to be activated? What if we want to breathe to have more energy? What if we want to breathe to be able to be more intellectually stimulated or to have a better memory? Can we do that with breath? We can.
Okay.
That's the second part of conscious breath work. But all of those things right now are being taught in modalities that are very prescriptive. So it's, if you have the symptom A, we'll do this kind of breath work. If you have symptom B, we'll do this kind of breath work. And it's not that they don't work, but they are band-aid approaches.
Okay.
The type of breath work that I've been exploring for the last 3 years is more widely known as somatic breath therapy,
Okay.
or conscious connected breath work. Conscious connected breath work might be, you might hear people refer to it as somatic breath therapy, transformational breath work, rebirthing breath work, therapeutic breath work. But at the core of it, all of those modalities share one thing, and it's an exploration of consciousness by taking away the pauses in our breath. And when we take away the pauses in our breath and we breathe in a circular motion, we access a part of our consciousness that we suppress the rest of the time. And so by doing that, we actually remove everything that we're doing to compensate, to suppress trauma in our life, and allowing ourselves to see what's underneath. When we see what's underneath, then we have the opportunity to do some work and do some healing work with what's underneath. Mm-hmm. And that's when we have the opportunity to work with the nervous system, or in my case, the very first time I ever did conscious connected breath work, I didn't realize I was in fight or flight from a car accident still.
Wow.
And so the first thing that came up for me was pain with no context. Mm-hmm. And then I realized, oh wait, this pain is actually at the site of several places I've had injuries in my body. And when we removed the compensation, I was able to feel the residual and how I'd been using my breath to suppress residual pain.
Wow.
It was really powerful.
It's just so fascinating.
It really, and so in probably 3 hours of using this modality, conscious connected breath work, the lingering components of injury from a car accident 5 years previously, and I had been told it would never go away, were gone.
Wow.
I was able to work through the residual, and it was gone. And that really sparked my interest.
Yeah, for sure. I think that would spark my interest too. And, you know, something I noticed even in myself, you know, and you said it before, is that how we breathe is how we live. Mm-hmm. And prior to, and even still to this date, I know I can hold my breath a lot. And that tells you a lot about how you're doing life.
That's right.
You know? So as far as, like, I've had the pleasure of working with you in a group setting, doing this once, what would someone who was going to participate in conscious breath work would, whether they have trauma that they know that they've gone through or maybe don't know that they have awareness of, what would it be, like a typical example of someone to take a workshop with you? What would they experience?
Well, if someone is coming into a conscious connected breathwork session and they know that there's underlying trauma, the first thing that I would say is, good, you know, there's underlying trauma. And then to understand that the breath will only take you where the body is ready to go.
Right.
And so I know there's some fear with some people, and there's some worry that we'll get into some situations where we might re-traumatize ourselves.
Right.
There might be things we don't want to remember.
Right.
There might be things we don't remember.
Right.
That we don't know that we don't know.
Right.
But there's some tension in our body that we can't understand. Why can't we ever unwind?
Right.
And so from that situation, what I would say to a person coming in for conscious connected breath work is, can you trust that your body will take care of you today?
Awesome.
Just like it's been doing since the trauma.
Right. That's
The breath
so awesome.
is perfectly adapted to protect you from whatever happened that day. And what it hasn't figured out, because the breath is hypervigilant, is that it doesn't have to keep protecting you from what happened that day.
Right.
And so if we use this modality and we move into the breath and we let the breath explore what's underneath, it will only take you where your nervous system is ready. And so when it's done with trained facilitation, people are not ending up in places that are scary or causes them to be in a psychologically dangerous place. You know, they're going to feel safe throughout and come out on the other side with usually a really deeper understanding of who they are. I always say be prepared to be surprised, because we don't know where the breath is going to take us. It's not a chronological item.
Right.
It moves with whatever we're ready for.
Yeah. And I think that is so amazing. I know just in the time that I had for you, which is one of the most important things for me, is I feel safe. I need to feel safe in the space to even enter into any kind of healing modality. And certainly that, you know, just your presence and your demeanor, and you had a calming effect, and it was just almost relaxing for me to go there. And not only that, like having someone to assist me. You know, I was so used to doing it on my own, and in the moment when the trauma began to come up for me, having someone there as my body began to respond, and just know, like, almost like that, just, I don't even know, like the arrow, like your touch, your words, just helped it, you know, so naturally and so peacefully of ease come out of me. And it was beautiful. So thank you, you know, just for helping my body facilitate that and come out with such safety in the moment. And even, you know, I don't even know how long it took me to get there, but I mean, the rest of the breath work was even such a beautiful progression. Like, it was almost a spiritual side of the breath work. Like, there was kind of this piece where I let go of some stuff, but then there was also a beautiful, peaceful aspect of the breath work that happened after for me. So, so I just want to thank you for
You're welcome.
being there.
That's why I call it the ritual of awareness, because we come into a new space and then we get reacquainted with who we are, who we really are.
Yeah.
When we take away
what
we've done to survive who we really are.
Yeah.
and we can take a look at, well, maybe I could love what's under there.
Yeah.
And it's a very freeing process.
Yeah, and that's really actually what happened for me after when that piece removed. There was like this part of me that began to arise and see myself in a different light, in a different way. It was really cool. So
I often get feedback from people. They'll come to a breath work and say, "Oh, well, that was nice." They might not have, you know, big flashing lights or memories or body pain like what I described, but then 3 days later they'll go, "You know, this thing that usually really bothers me, like I usually have road rage, I don't have it anymore. It's really interesting. I don't know why I don't have it anymore, but I'm not tense behind the wheel in my car." And so the breath shifts by degrees. Will shift us, our state. It's really beautiful to watch.
That is awesome. And another piece I just wanted to mention too that I really appreciated, especially when you're seeking a practitioner and someone to help you work through hard pieces, whether it's big, you know, big things that you've gone through or just, you know, everyday life, is that you made yourself accessible by email or phone call, just to chat if I had questions or if something came up for me, that I wasn't alone. You know, that you made yourself available for me, which I think is a huge component in the healing journey, is just knowing that you have the support that comes along with the work that you do.
Yes, because we are really working towards the integration of the nervous system for each person. And that's going to happen at different speeds and different experiences. And so that's why I'm available. So if anyone comes to one of the introduction workshops, they have access to me for a full week afterwards.
Which is incredible.
That's part of the price.
Yeah.
So they have that access so that we can work through whatever comes up for them and in a really meaningful way. And sometimes it goes on that we'll end up meeting again and we'll do private sessions.
Okay.
And people really respond quickly to private sessions. If you thought
if you think the
group was like the Big Bang, no.
I need a private session.
The private sessions are because the energy is so focused.
Right.
And we can go for 2 or 3 hours, as much as the body requires.
Yeah.
So we follow the breath. The body and the breath are the intelligence we follow. And so it lets us go into places that we can't do in a group setting because you have my full attention.
Right.
And so like you said about the touch being important at certain times, and in a group setting, that is, of course, spread around.
Yeah.
And there's a different type of experience with group energy.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you just kind of went to the direction I was just going to ask you. If someone wanted to work with you, the different modalities that you offer and your accessibilities, I guess, to your practice.
So right now I'm in Saskatoon. So if anybody wants to see me one-on-one, I don't mind traveling. So I'll travel anywhere in the province. And I see people in my home office as well.
Okay. I
also do group sessions for 4 or more people. So if people have...
Even want to get together with their friends.
Exactly. So if you want to have a breath party, I'll come.
That's awesome. This is a new thing. We can start breath parties.
Exactly. And they can get pretty late.
There's so
lots
awesome.
of hot air. So, yeah. So that's one way, is to have me come out. I've also have a Facebook page and a business now in Saskatoon called Room to Breathe.
Okay.
And throughout 2020, I'm finishing up some training this year. Okay. And in 2020, we'll be offering a full, I'll call it the smorgasbord of breath work.
Right.
So we'll be offering what I think is the most important foundation is breath awareness classes. So people can come in and just start to realize, where is the breath in my body? Most of us have never been trained to think about, when I breathe, where do I feel that in my body? Is it going somewhere or is it not going somewhere? And then working on some somatic awareness.
Right.
About, do I change my breath in certain circumstances? Can I change my breath in certain circumstances? Can I access emotion by shifting breath? These are some of the things that we'll work through. And there will be some very specific classes that I'm offering for trauma release. That is like you said, building that container in the group was important, the safety. And when people know in advance that they're working through some deep traumas, there's even more that I'd like to be able to bring to that type of setting, where we would meet several times with the same group of people, so that people would have that safety.
Same consistency.
Yeah, so people would have that safety. And then beyond the breath awareness classes, then there will be weekly breath circles, which is what you experience.
Right.
So there'll be a weekly breath circle that's meant as an introduction, and then there's going to be advanced breath circles. So people who are now creating a personal practice, which is really the goal for me, is for people to really re-engage the breath in their life in a spiritual, meaningful way and have results. Tangible results.
Don't we need tangible results?
Right.
I need tangible results.
I really need tangible results. And so this is the way that I'm going to formulate the work so that people can come in, see if it's for them. If they want to explore more, then come to the advanced classes, come to the breath awareness classes to build your technique. And then the goal of the advanced classes is self-regulation instead of self-intervention. Most of what we're taught, even in yoga breath work, is to self-intervene. If this is happening to me, if I'm anxious, there's 4 different kinds of techniques I can teach you that will help you stop the anxiety attack. Right. But wouldn't it be cool if we could actually just resolve the thing that's causing the anxiety in the first place?
That's what I want.
Right. And I'm always about point of causality. I'm always a preventative person. I've been doing that for 25 years, and that's what I want to do, is prevent.
Right.
So if we can bring people in the advanced classes to the causal point, why am I having anxiety? And then we heal it from the root.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm all about getting to the root. And you also have a mental health background, right? Like education and all that.
I have an education degree, and I've been working in mental health for 21 years in the province. And I've also worked in the birth world for 25 years. Yeah,
that's so amazing. I mean, you are the perfect, you know, like just all these different things you can bring together in the healing modality for releasing trauma and just helping us breathe again. Breathing after.
Shall we breathe?
Get out of the survival mode. And also, you did mention that you can do Zoom or FaceTime or...
Absolutely. For people at a distance, I can do breath awareness classes online. We also do some connected breathwork modalities online.
Okay.
It's a little trickier, but we have to do an intake to see how that works.
Okay.
And then the last piece of what I offer is actually the science part of breathwork, which is biofeedback.
Okay.
So with that, I can actually sit down, and I'm a certified breath behavior analyst.
Wow.
So I can sit down with someone and we can look at the feedback from the computer and say, okay, what's your heart rate? How many breaths per minute are you actually taking? What's your CO2 levels? Which muscle groups are you recruiting to breathe? Maybe that's what's causing the migraines, because you do this 28,000 times a day. And they're not noticing because it's a micro movement.
Right.
So we can retrain and repattern dysfunctional breath patterns for during the day, and then at the same time we can do somatic breath therapy to look at underlying causes.
I mean, this is so amazing, and I feel like we can't begin to even scratch the surface of the depth and the profound healing that can come through this work. But I just really wanted to bring light to this modality of breathwork, that we have it right here in our city. Some of the things that you can experience by doing the breath work and the healing that can come from it. Not only like healing on a spiritual level, an emotional level, but I mean even healing the physical pain that we feel in our body from having that suppressed, you know, because often that's a symptom of the trauma that you're holding inside. So it, you know, it hits all levels. You know,
it even goes as deep as intergenerational trauma.
Oh, there we go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which is what I'm all about. Yeah.
Yes. So the trauma of our ancestors that we hold in our DNA, we can access that with the breath.
This is amazing. This is the new party, everybody. You all need to sign up. We don't need candlelight anymore. Let's do breath workshops.
Do breath work. And if you want more information on what is this modality, the International Breathwork Foundation has a really great write-up on their website that talks about the difference between different types of breathwork and what conscious breathwork is. And then they give the outline of what is a breathwork professional, so that you know if you're going to do this work, am I working with someone who's actually trained to do this work?
Right.
And they have quite a rigid, it's not really rigid, but extensive explanation of the type of training we have. And most people have 3 to 4 years training.
And I think it's necessary. Yes, for sure. And you know, I just know with working with you that I trust you and love that have the opportunity to have a partnership and even send people your way who are looking for this. So thank you so much. If people do want to contact you, what would be the best way to get a hold of you?
They can find me at Room to Breathe.
Room to Breathe.
On Facebook.
Facebook.
And we will have a website up probably within the next 6 weeks.
Okay.
And my phone number and email will be there. But my email is roomforyoutoBreathe.
Room for you to breathe.
At gmail.com.
At gmail.com. Perfect. Perfect. Anything else before we close that you can think of?
I don't think so.
No. Okay. Well, thank you again so much for your time and for just sharing your wisdom around this area of breath work, and yeah, I'm super excited to learn more about this and even do some deep dives with you. So, right?
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you so much.